Welcome to our video about the fascinating world of Pokemon and their placement on the Tree of Life. Today, we take a closer look at Dugong and its relationship with Slowbro, as they are both part of the Mustelida clade. Ready? Let's go! The Mustelida represent a well-supported phylogenetic clade within the order Carnivora, predatory mammals, and comprise two fundamentally different but closely related groups: the aquatically adapted Pinnipedia, seals, sea lions, walruses, and the predominantly terrestrial Musteloidea, weasels, otters, raccoons, skunks, red pandas. This classification reflects their close evolutionary relationship. Even though their lifestyles and morphological adaptations appear strikingly different, the Mustelida are a fascinating example of evolutionary diversification. Over Earth's history, a common ancestor split into different life forms, with relatively rapid evolutionary adaptations leading to two distinct specializations, one toward aquatic life, exemplified by Pinnipedia, and the other toward various terrestrial and semi-aquatic niches, occupied by Musteloidea. This adaptive radiation makes Mustelida an intriguing group compared to other carnivores. Within Carnivora, Mustelida belong to the dog-like predators, Caniformia. The classification was historically based on morphological characteristics but has been significantly refined in recent decades through molecular analyses. The Mustelida clade consists of two main subgroups: Pinnipedia, which are typically adapted to aquatic life and possess numerous specialized features, and Musteloidea, a diverse superfamily primarily composed of terrestrial species but also including some semi-aquatic forms. The divergence of Mustelida into these two main branches, Pinnipedia and Musteloidea, likely traces back to a common ancestor in the early to mid-tertiary period, approximately 30 to 40 million years ago. Evolutionary genetic and morphological studies suggest that adaptive differentiation had already begun at that time, with some species evolving toward aquatic habitats while others adapted to terrestrial and hybrid niches. Fossil discoveries from various geological periods provide evidence of transitional forms that exhibit traits from both groups. These findings help reconstruct the complex branching of carnivore ancestry and illustrate how dramatically different environmental conditions led to diverging evolutionary paths. Although Pinnipedia and Musteloidea differ significantly in their lifestyles, they share several fundamental anatomical features that highlight their common ancestry. Skeletal structure: both groups possess a flexible body structure. In Pinnipedia, the forelimbs and hind limbs have evolved into flippers, optimizing water resistance and enabling efficient swimming movements. In contrast, many Musteloidea have short, agile limbs that allow for quick and nimble movements. Dentition: a tooth-rich, heterodont jaw adapted in shape and size to different food sources is one of the evolutionary constants. This diversity reflects the group's adaptability to various dietary specializations. Sensory organs: both aquatic and terrestrial species exhibit highly developed sensory organs. In Pinnipedia, the sense of touch plays a crucial role in underwater environments, whereas Musteloidea often have sharp vision, a pronounced sense of smell, and strong auditory capabilities. The phylogenetic classification of Mustelida remains a subject of intensive research. Modern genetic analyses and molecular data have helped resolve previously unclear taxonomic questions that were traditionally based solely on morphological observations. Particularly, the precise divergence time of the two main branches and the evolutionary transitions from terrestrial to aquatic lifestyles are currently being extensively debated. New fossil discoveries and advanced analytical methods contribute to an increasingly detailed reconstruction of Mustelida's evolutionary history, providing evidence of possible yet undiscovered transitional forms. The Mustelida clade is a striking example of the vast adaptive range within carnivores. Despite paradoxically opposing lifestyles, Pinnipedia's aquatic specialization versus Musteloidea's terrestrial and partially urban adaptability, these groups share common evolutionary origins and numerous morphological traits. This taxonomic unity underscores how evolutionary processes can produce remarkably different life forms that remain closely linked through their fundamental ancestry. The harp seal, Pagophyllus groenlandicus, also known as the saddleback seal or Greenland seal, is a species of earless seal, or true seal, native to the northernmost Atlantic Ocean and Arctic Ocean. Originally in the genus Phoca with a number of other species, It was reclassified into the monotypic genus Pagophyllus in 1844. In Greek, its scientific name translates to ice lover from Greenland, and its taxonomic synonym, Phoca groenlandica, translates to Greenlandic seal. This is the only species in the genus Pagophyllus. The mature harp seal has pure black eyes. It has a silver-gray fur covering its body, with black harp or wishbone-shaped markings dorsally, accounting for its common name. Adult harp seals grow to be 1.7 to 2.0 m, 5 feet 7 inches to 6 feet 7 inches, long and weigh from 115 to 140 kilograms, 254 to 309 pounds. The harp seal pup has a white coat for the first 2 to 3 weeks until the first molt, where it's replaced by a black dotted silver to gray coat. They acquire their characteristic pattern once they near sexual maturity. In males, the transition to the harp pattern tends to be abrupt, while in females it may be gradual and span years. Some females never lose all their spots or fully develop the harp pattern. Harp seals show little sexually dimorphic, with males being slightly larger. The harp seal is a modest diver. Dive depth varies with season, time of day and location. In the Greenland sea subpopulation, the average dive rate is around 8.3 dives per hour, and dives range from a depth of less than 20 meters 66 feet to over 500 meters 1,600 feet. Dive duration ranges from less than 2 minutes to just over 20 minutes. During the spring and summer, when seals forage along the pack ice in the Greenland Sea, most dives are less than 50 m, 160 feet. 4. In the late fall and winter, dive depth has been found to increase, particularly in the Denmark Strait, where the mean dive depth was found to be 141 meters 463 feet. Lactating female harp seals spend about 80% of the time in the water and 20% of the time on the fast ice, weaning or staying near their pups. However, almost half of the time spent in the water is at the surface. Well beyond what is expected to recover from dives, this behavior allows the mother harp seal to conserve energy and avoid the harsh conditions of the fast ice while remaining near her pup. As with most phocids, she requires vast amounts of energy to ensure sufficient mass transfer to her growing, weaning pup. Harp seals remain within their aerobic dive limit for 99% of dives. Harp seal insulation changes over the course of a seal's lifetime. Young harp seals rely on a lanugo pelt from nursing all the way up to their weaning age. The insulating quality of this fur depends on its ability to keep a layer of air trapped inside or between the hairs. It takes a year for their blubber to develop and for their first-year pelage to grow. This transition from thick lanugo fur to blubber is important because lanugo fur does not insulate well in water. Adult harp seals primarily use blubber for insulation. Harp seals combine anatomical and behavioral approaches to managing their body temperatures, instead of elevating their metabolic rate and subsequently their energy requirements. Their lower critical temperature is believed to be under -10 degrees Celsius 14 degrees Fahrenheit in air. A thick coat of blubber insulates its body and provides energy when food is scarce or during fasting. Blubber also streamlines its body for more efficient swimming. Brown fat warms blood as it returns from the body surface, as well as providing energy. Most importantly, for newly weaned pups, this blubber insulates the harp seal's core but does not insulate the flippers to the same extent. Instead, the flippers have circulatory adaptations to help prevent heat loss. Flippers act as heat exchangers, warming or cooling the seal as needed. On ice, the seal can press its fore flippers to its body and its hind flippers together to reduce heat loss. They can also redirect blood flow from the periphery to minimize heat loss. The nostrils and eyes of harp seals are adapted to conserve heat, possessing a countercurrent heat exchange system and retia mirabile, respectively. The harp seal's eyes are large for its body size and contain a large spherical lens that improves focusing ability. Its mobile pupil helps it adapt to the intense glare of the Arctic ice. Its retina is raw-dominated and backed by a cat-like and reflective tapetum lucidum, enhancing its low light sensitivity. Its cornea is lubricated by lacrimal glands. To protect the eye from sea-water damage on ice, the mother identifies her offspring by smell. This sense may also warn of an approaching predator. Underwater, the seal closes its nostrils, disabling its sense of smell. Its whiskers, or vibrissae, lie in horizontal rows on either side of its snout. They can sense to low-frequency vibrations, and may be able to detect movement of nearby animals during dives. Like most pinnipeds, harp seals are carnivorous. They have a diverse diet including several dozen fish and invertebrate species. The white sea population migrates northward in the summer to forage extensively in the Barents Sea, where common prey items include krill, capelin, Mallotus bullosus, herring, such as Clupea harengus, flatfish, and gadiform fish, such as various species of cod. Harp seals prefer some prey, though their diet depends largely on prey abundance. Diet and abundance analysis of the Svalbard population found that this population predominantly eats krill, followed closely by polar cod, Arctogladus glacialis. Some individuals from the Greenland Sea subpopulation have been observed to forage in the Barents Sea alongside the White Sea subpopulation during late summer and fall. Barents Sea harp seals eat mostly herring and polar cod but less krill or amphipods, likely because these seals usually dive deeper than such prey. Western North Atlantic harp seals forage both near and offshore of Newfoundland, most preferring such prey as Arctic cod, Boreagotus sida, capelin, Greenland halibut, Rheonhartius hippoglossoides, and American plaice, Hippoglossoides platysoides. As in other populations and foraging areas, diet varies with distance from shore, with Arctic cod comprising more of it near shore and capelin more of it offshore. However, capelin is the preferred prey in both locales. Harp seals spend relatively little time on land compared with time at sea. They are social animals and can be quite vocal in groups. Within their large colonies, smaller groups with their own hierarchies form. Groups of several thousand form during puppying and mating season. Harp seals can live over 30 years in the wild on the ice. Pups call their mothers by yelling, and mumble while playing with other pups. Adults growl and warble to warn off conspecifics and predators. Underwater, adults have been recorded using more than 19 types of vocalization during courting and mating. Global harp seal population estimates total around 4.5 million individuals due to their dependence on pack ice for breeding. The harp seal range is restricted to areas where pack ice forms seasonally. The western North Atlantic stock or population, which is the largest, is located off eastern Canada. This population is further divided into two separate herds based on the breeding location. The front herd breeds off the coast of Labrador and Newfoundland, and the Gulf herd breeds near the Magdalen Islands in the middle of the Gulf of St. Lawrence. A second stock breeds on the west ice off eastern Greenland. A third stock breeds on the east ice in the White Sea, which is off the north coast of Russia below the Barents Sea. Breeding occurs between mid-February and April, and varies somewhat for each stock. The three stocks are allopatric and do not interbreed. The number of pups born in the traditional puppying area of the southern Gulf of St. Lawrence was greatly reduced, with an estimated pup production of only 18,300, 95% CI, 15,400 to 21,200 rounded to the nearest hundred. Another 13,600, 95% CI, 7,700 to 19,500, pups were born in the northern Gulf. An estimated 714,600, 95% CI, 538,800 to 890,400, pups were born off the northeastern coast of Newfoundland, front, accounting for 96% of all puppying in 2017. Combining the estimates from all areas resulted in an estimated total pup production of 746,500, 95% CI, 570,300 to 922,700. Harp seals are strongly migratory. The northwest population regularly moves up to 4,000 kilometers, 2,500 miles, northeast outside of the breeding season. One individual was located off the North Norwegian coast, 4,640 kilometers, 2,880 miles, east-northeast of its tagging location. Their navigational accuracy is high, with good eyesight an important factor. They are occasionally found as vagrants, south of their normal range. In Great Britain, a total of 31 vagrants were recorded between 1800 and 1988. More recently, they reached Lindisfarne in Northumberland in September 1995, and the Shetland Islands in 1987. The latter was linked to a mass movement of harp seals into Norwegian waters, By mid-February 1987, 24,000 were reported drowned in fishing nets and perhaps 30,000, about 10% of the world population, had invaded fjords as far south as Oslo. The animals were emaciated, likely due to commercial fishing causing competition for the seal's prey. Harp seals can strand on Atlantic coasts, often in warmer months, due to dehydration and parasite load. In March 2020, a harp seal was spotted near Salvo, North Carolina. Harp seals often consume snow to stay hydrated, but in mild winters may not have enough available. Several centers are active in seal rescue and rehabilitation, including IFAW, NOAA, and the New England Aquarium. Harp seals are protected by the Marine Mammal Protection Act in the United States. That's it for now. In the next episode, we'll take a closer look at Mook and its relationship with all Pokemon kingdoms we already established. Feel free to subscribe to our channel, leave a like, and check in next time.